Hi everyone, this is Prachi Jaitly, and I welcome you all to this very special episode, the episode focusing on the much awaited state visit by the Prime Minister of Republic of India, Sh.Narender Modi, to the United States. And as everybody is super excited and looking forward to this upcoming visit by Prime Minister Modi to the United States, we have just the right person to talk about this special event. And our guest today is a very prominent community leader, a very successful medical professional, and I would say one of the biggest contributor to India's growth story. So he would be just the right person today to talk about the role of Indian diaspora towards India's growth story, and that's the theme that we are focusing on in this series. So let's welcome Dr. Bharat Barai to our studio.
Thank you, Prachi.
Welcome, Dr. Barai. How are you doing?
Good.
Um, so, Dr. Bright, today, these days, the talk of the town is this 2023 Republic of India visit to the United States. We are talking about Prime Minister Modi's much awaited visit to the United States. And again, the theme that we have been talking about is the role of Indian diaspora. And I've been interviewing for past month. I've been interviewing many people, not only just from Indian American ethnicity, but from multiple people here in the United States. Uh, the kind of reactions that I'm getting from people is that this is a moment of excitement for everybody, because the kind of leadership that we have established now from India, it's like it's very inspirational, and people are proud of calling themselves at Indian American now, not just an immigrant, and that is because of the leadership that we are talking about. So we would like to hear from you as far as the contribution of our diaspora towards the growth story in India.
Prachi, both the US congressmen, senators, and on the Indian side, Indian politicians, including Rahul Gandhi, have accepted that Indian diaspora, they have worked hard, not just in the United States, but Australia, United Kingdom, Canada, and other countries. They have earned it to themselves by their hard work, honesty, education, whatever you call it. Another thing which has been common in Indian diaspora, which are 33 million strong all over the world, they still feel connected to India.
Mhm.
They still want to do something for India. And outside Middle East, the most educated, most prosperous, and most populous diaspora is in United States. If we count the people on H-1B visa and student visa, it's approximately 4.6 million. So in last 2.5 decades, the Indian Americans have worked hard with their congressmen and senators, and on the other side with the Indian counterparts, to bring better relationship between the two countries. As Prime Minister Vajpayee had said, we are natural partners. Look at it. We are both large democracies. We are pluralistic society. We value education. We value family life, and we have a legal system, the rule of law, as we call it. Also, as it happens, and I'll quote former Ambassador of India to United States, Siddharth Shankar Ray. He told me when he came to United States as India's ambassador, he introduced himself, like all ambassadors do, to the President of the United States, and at that time it was George Bush Sr. He said, Mr. President, I represent the largest English-speaking country in the world, which is so true. So we also have a very strong language bond that we can communicate in those countries, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and many countries of the South African continent. So that with lot of those similarities, and we being very educated community, we are effectively able to engage with our congressmen and senators and try to convince them that it is in the best interest of both countries to have closer bonds. And I'm glad that the efforts of our community has worked. And both congressmen have openly said that if it was not for Indian diaspora, we would not have this close relationship. And also, let's face it, most of the people in India still want to send their children for education to United States.
Mhm.
All the all the consul generals that come, the ambassadors come, usually leave their children for education in USA, and
Mhm.
most of them settle here.
Yeah.
A lot of IAS officers, other officers, they want to send their children for higher education to USA and leave them here. So obviously there is a bond between the two countries,
Mhm.
and so from simply being educational bond, cultural bond, now it is also getting more and more into economics bond, high technology bonds,
Right.
and now even military bond.
Mhm. So, Dr. Barai, I was talking to, again, as you just mentioned, we're talking about technology also. So, I was talking to IT professionals, and as uh, because we have this new program by Government of India, which is No India program, where we send youth from here to India to different states every time, and they come, they meet people there, they understand, and the cultural nuances and the other aspects of India. So these are the kind of people who are very excited because they are looking forward to this much awaited visit. So in terms of these professionals, like for example IT professionals who have been very who have played a great role in creating opportunities here as well as back in India, in terms of that, what are we looking forward to, for people who have interest here as well as back in India because they have invested in both countries.
Prachi, there are economic opportunities in India for
Yep.
many US companies, including companies owned by Indian Americans. And now we know that there are many companies that have Indian American CEOs, starting with Microsoft, Google, FedEx, Starbucks, General Atomics, Northern Tools, you name it. There are many companies that have Indian CEOs.
Mhm.
So naturally, they have bond for India. The little guys like us, we also have a lot of affinity for India,
Mhm.
and we want to do what we can for India. So I think that's going to work out good. It also gives opportunity to our children to look beyond United States and
Mhm.
not look at China and Taiwan, look at one of the largest, now the largest, most populated country in the world.
Absolutely. And when I was interacting with people back in India, they are of the same opinion because there are certain things that they never thought would happen. Like, for example, the Prime Minister office reaching out to every household via TV, via radio, so they feel connected with the government because the means that the government is trying to reach where the remote areas, especially because I belong to a remote area, and people are connected through radio, people through Man Ki Baat, people are connected through, of course, TV as well. And now we have these new innovative systems that even the world is looking at, like for example the payment system that we never thought of, the health insurance that we never thought of, that would be introduced in India. And now recently I was reading about, they are talking about special schemes for the street vendors also. So these are the things that, when we were in India, we never heard of, and these are the things that are coming forward, that is all inclusive. So they are serving the purpose for all economic groups in India. And that's why we sitting so far from India feel so proud, because we feel finally we have a government that is all inclusive and creating opportunities for all economic groups. And that's why we have this excitement in India as well, because they are looking forward to Prime Minister's address here in the Congress. So about that, what do you have to say about, because this is a very proud moment that he would be addressing the Congress here in the United States. Please, your 2 cents on that.
I agree with you, Prachi. It is a great transformation of the society in India. Everybody even the beggars on the footpath, the lariwalas, they all have the mobiles.
Yeah.
And when you have the mobile, you have mobile internet, you have access to all kinds of facilities, making contactless payments, ordering the things, reaching out for news, connecting to your friends, sending out emails, sending out text messages, sending out WhatsApp. So everyone feels empowered that they can do the things which they were never able to do. And of course, they can watch the television and get the news from all over the world. And now a country we just became independent 75 years ago. We were in shambles. We were snake charmers country, and now we have become the this mouse charmers country.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, that's what we were talking about, that when we visited India as well, it's total transformation. When we talk about airport infrastructure, when we talk about railroad infrastructure, it's totally transformed. And the again, as I mentioned, your 2 cents on his address to the Congress, because that is also a very proud moment for us.
I think this address to the Congress will solidify the relationship where a prime minister of world's largest democracy and world's largest population directly addresses to the members of Congress and Senate in a joint session, which is like a heart to heart talk.
Hmm.
You know, for all these years, the relationship between US and India was somewhat strained. We were perceived as more pro Russian, more anti Western. That perception has been slowly disappearing since time of Prime Minister Vajpayee, and Narendra Modi has accelerated this process where the two countries are coming together, cooperating very closely in the military field,
Mhm.
which is advantageous to both the countries.
With the country.
United States wants to have a free Indo-Pacific, freedom everywhere. And if you look at it, once you go east of Europe, Middle East is always in turmoil. Then Pakistan and Afghanistan, they are also in turmoil. So as far as China's hegemony is concerned, China is trying to become now the new superpower. Now, if they become superpower, nobody has any question. But they are threatening all the small countries, and none of those countries on their own can stand up against China. So the only country that has the will and the ability to stand up to the China is India.
Hmm.
So it is in best interest of United States and Western countries to be with India. And for India also, it is best for its own existence, for its own survival, that it's able to stand up to China, because we have two bullies as our neighbors, Pakistan and China. Now, Pakistan is taking care of itself by destroying itself, so we don't need to worry too much about it. But China is still trying to act in a bullish manner. Like today, they expelled the last Indian correspondent that was in China. So their dictatorship and their autocratic thing is just going to be in control. There will not, after the end of this month, there will not be a single Indian correspondent in China. So if they had their way, they would like to boom, 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 try to dictate and subjugate every other country.
That's right.
Except now they realize that this is not 2023, not 1962, and the Prime Minister is Narendra Modi, not Jawaharlal Nehru. If they try to mess around with India, they well might get smacked. And they should get smacked for their gundagiri.
And Dr. Brai, one thing that I was continuously hearing from our diaspora is that that many of them are they are saying, if we are not looking at this visit, uh, keeping any certain any specific political parties on the side. Many people are also looking forward to this visit as the US India friendship meeting, the US India bond kind of visit. And that is very true. And I think that is also a very important part. If we keep the political part of it aside, this is going to be a milestone visit, uh, strengthening the bond between two of the biggest democracies in the world.
You're right. State visit, that is a rare honor that is accorded to
Absolutely.
the head of another country, which is the highest expression of friendship
Hmm.
and honor that is accorded to the head of another country.
Country.
So even though India and US have been coming closer by inviting Prime Minister Modi for a state visit, that is a great expression of love, respect for India.
Absolutely. Dr. Barai, we look forward to welcoming Mr. Narendra Modi in Washington, D.C., and we look forward to hearing his address as well. And on that note, we thank you for your input, and thank you so much for joining us today. And again, we wish you all the best for all the great work that you do, and we look forward to talking to you again.
No, thank you so much. It is our joint effort of our community, and I'm grateful to all the colleagues. We have all worked together, and that's what makes the program successful. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.